So I was up till 5:30 this morning. But this item came across the hamster's eyeballs here. The state of Ohio, Governor DeWine signs a law to eliminate sales taxes on feminine hygiene products. Oh my God. Did you know former Senator and now Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio is a Republican, by the way? And feminine hygiene products will be eliminated in Ohio after the governor signed a law Wednesday to end the tax. This was a couple of weeks ago. That will take effect April 1st, 2020. A victory for feminism. Yeah, we don't want to, be adults and shit and pay sales taxes like the rest of the fucking population. No, it's unfair. It's unfair. Now, you could probably make the argument that, yeah, it is kind of in modern times a necessary product, like a drug or something. You could make that argument and say, look, this is something we need. Okay, this is not 1850 or whatever where you literally folded up a newspaper, shoved it up in there, or whatever. This is modern times, and it's a burden on some women to have to pay the 5.75% sales tax in Ohio. You could probably make that argument, but that's not the argument that was made, is it? Oh no, it's oppression of women. Tampons are a luxury item. Well, not that facts actually matter to the Feminasties. The United Kingdom classified tampons, menstrual pads, all that stuff as a luxury item to reduce the value-added tax. Everything else is taxed at 20%, or most everything else. Tampons were declared a luxury. So under the European Union rules, they were only taxed at 5%. Do you get it? It's wordplay. It's a game to make it less than everything else with a VAT in England. I mean, what is this bullshit? You can look it up. You can go to Google luxury tax England. It'll tell you what the frick they did. But no, it's a luxury. Women should just bleed into their pants and not go to school and whatever the fucking arguments they make. So last month, the Ohio Senate voted 30-1 in favor of the bill that makes a slew of tax changes, including eliminating sales taxes on tampons and sanitary pads. A Republican was a proponent of the tax break, called it a victory for women's. Through the passage of this bill, women will see significant savings on tampons and other feminine hygiene products. Ohio's taxes must be applied even-handedly. They were applied even-handedly to everyone. People buy shit. They pay a sales tax on everything. Few exceptions, prescription drugs, stuff like that. So the tax was being applied even-handedly. There wasn't a special tax on tampons. Some of these stories I'll link below. They were, it's a repeal of the tampon tax. No, it's exempting tampons from sales tax. They were taxed like everything else. They weren't taxed more. But the women's, you can't expect them to be adults. Come on, just men. She continues. Women, with the repeal of this, women have moved one step closer to being treated more equitably under the law. Really? Really? Now, if a man, say a trans man, you're not a TERF, are you? Are you? If a trans man went to buy tampons in Ohio, would that trans man not have to pay sales tax on those tampons? Well, of course he would. She, it, whatever. The tax was even-handedly applied. Women were not taxed more to buy a box of tampons than, say, a trans man or a firefighter or a soldier. I've heard tampons are good for plugging wounds. Everybody paid the tax. But now, no tax on tampons because women. A box of 32 tampons cost about $8 in Ohio. Tax rate's 5.75. Call it 6%. 48 cents on a box of tampons times, 12? My overall point is this. Governor DeWine's allegedly a Republican, right? I'm sure he's a great guy and everything, But feminism and this nonsense is so embedded. It's been decades, actually almost a century, since the long march through the institutions with Marcuse, Gramsci, all of the Frankfurt School, the New School, cultural Marxism, all of that bullshit. Now you look and you see feminists, smearing blood on themselves and marching in the street and whatever the fuck they do. That's the sideshow. That's like the magician saying, don't look at this hand because there's nothing going on, when in fact there is something going on. That's how magic works. Don't look at this, pay attention to that. So you see these clowns with the pink hair and the red hair and the blue hair and the nose rings. That's the circus. Where the real power is embedded cultural Marxism in our government. It has been embedded for literally decades. World War II kind of slowed it down a little bit, but it's been blossoming ever since, like a fucking cancer. And now even states like Ohio, with Republican governors and Republican legislatures, oh yeah, the women's are oppressed. It's all looked at through the lens of feminism. So, you can make fun of these, you fat women with their tits hanging out, slut walking, and all. That is the sideshow. The real problem that we have, and you could call it the deep state if you want to, that's kind of referencing, Trump and whatever. They are embedded. They're baked into the pie. Many times, if you're in the government, it's a lifetime situation. You rarely get fired as a government employee from the government contract, the union and all this stuff. Academia. Why do you think something like 90 or 85% of freaking elementary school teachers are women? Do you think there was any thought behind that? We have unelected bureaucrats lopsidedly on the cultural Marxist, feminist, whateverist side. Those people are almost impossible to get out of their positions. This didn't happen overnight. I know it seems like it. Last 5-7 years I've been paying attention. It's like, what is this? It's been decades. We're just coming to the fruition of a century-old plan. And I hate to say it, I think it might be too much. It might be too far. I don't think we can do anything about it. We, meaning men and women who don't want to become a Marxist society or socialism or whatever. But for at least 50, maybe 60 years, this Marxism bullshit has been pumped into the receptive brains of young women when they get into college and in high school and in elementary school and so on and so forth. It might be too late. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.